Hey everyone, my name is Adena. I am here at the amazing, beautiful Upaya Retreat Center, and I wanted to tell you guys a little bit about the Get Your Shit Together retreat. So lucky and grateful to have been able to go to the last one last month in January. It's only been 3 weeks and I have already seen immense change. My parents tell me almost every day how much I've changed for the better. I am manifesting my dream life. I'm becoming the person who I've always wanted to be but always been too scared to or put excuses. It's amazing, to say the least. It is amazing. It is the one thing that if I could share with everyone, I would share this. It's hosted by the amazing Amy Joy. She is my beautiful friend and mentor, and I am so immensely grateful for her, for teaching me all of this, for giving me all the tools and the new tools in my toolbox. It is all about oneness and growth, personal growth, spiritual growth, and about manifesting the life that you want, becoming the person you want to be. So yeah, this is something that is interesting to you. It is here at Upaya. There's amazing food. 7 people who were complete strangers and turned them into a family who adores each other in 6 days. Amazing. I talk to those people every day. I have so much love for them because we grew together and we learned together. So if this is something that you would like to do, if this is something that's calling you, please go. It will change your life. I know it has changed mine, and everyone who came has changed forever.
Are you ready to get your shit together? Isn't that what we are all truly trying to do? In this fun, life hack full show, we will learn together how to navigate this roller coaster called life. We, as glorious messy humans, can sit in the proverbial third car, grumpy and bored, or in the front of the roller coaster having the time of our lives. What do you choose? In this show, you can expect meaningful content and practical takeaway tools to make life easier and exceptionally more joyful. There will be epic guests who already love their lives, allowing them to share their get your shit together tips and words of wisdom. Life is too long and too short to not love your life. Welcome to Get Your Shit Together Live with Amy Joy. Hello, and welcome to Get Your Shit Together Live with Amy Joy, and I'm your host, Amy Joy. Happy Thursday, and congratulations on your abundance. I want you to take a minute right now to notice, to really, truly notice how abundant you really are. Take a look. Look up, look down, look around. Think about who you have in your life, who you be in this world. So much abundance. We're programmed to think that we're lacking, and it's simply not true. And this is why we start every show remembering how abundant we truly, truly are. Congratulations on your abundance. All right, we have an amazing show today. We have the epic. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're live. I just choked on my own spit. So we are glorious and messy humans here, and we get to live it out on live television. So we have the amazing Adena Sampson on the show today. She is such a beautiful human. You will see here clearly. And we're going to talk about this new amazing summit she's up to, Courage to Thrive. And we're going to talk about how to lighten up. So stay tuned, call your friends, and we take life way too serious sometimes. So we're going to talk about how we can lighten things up and have more fun and more joy in our lives. It is always a life hack full show. Stay to the end for mantra magic and meditation moment. And of course, the golden nugget from Adena. We want to hear that too. So thank you. Thank you for spending your very, very precious time with us today. All right. So you know what time it is. It is time to change your state, elevate. And I'm very pleased to have Adena Sampson doing this segment today. I'm going to introduce her properly, but here she is. Here's Adena. Welcome to the show. And what can we do to go from crappy to happy in seconds?
Well, thank you, Amy, so much again for having me. So we're shifting our state. One of the best tools that I teach, that I like to give for those to use, everyone here that is listening in on this Transformation Thursday, I like to call it, are 5 simple steps to reclaiming your power, to shifting your state. Let's give you an example. I think the best example, I know for me, it took me many years. I don't know if it's you. Maybe you're one of these people that, are pretty calm most of the time, but you might be driving in traffic and someone's kind of getting a little too close to you. And you have a moment where you react. You're upset. You're bothered. Anybody? Is it just me? Just right. Okay, Amy, we've been there. We've done that. So let's use that as an example. Again, reclaiming your power in 5 simple steps. The acronym: pause, observe, witness, expand, and then release. Something that's easy to memorize so that in the moment, when we need it the most, when we're feeling stressed, overwhelmed, anxious, whether we're in the car with family members, I mean, the list can go on. It is what it is. We are human beings. Yes, many of us spiritual and on the path, and yet we live here in the moment. And in order to stay in joy and lighten up, we've got to shift in the moment, shift our state so that we're not feeling that to an excess, so that that's not something that lasts throughout the day. Right? So again, somebody's behind you, you notice that you're kind of frustrated. Oh my goodness, you might even swear. You pause, right? The power of the pause, that is the first step out of the 5. Okay. Observe, notice. That guy's whatever you might have said, right? Whatever, okay, so I'm observing that this person, this woman, man, hopefully not a child driving, is just the way they are being. We are observing that they're in a rush. Maybe they think they're better than, kind of is what it is. Have you not been there yourself? Maybe a rush to get somewhere. Anyway, the point being here is just pausing, observing that, yes, okay, this is happening. Witnessing, I'm getting upset right now, definitely bothered, right? Expanding, okay, what is possible next? Do I need to really be angry? Do I need to be upset? No. Is this serving me? No. And then releasing that, letting it go. Again, it sounds so simple, and yet the simplest things, the smallest shifts in perspective, the smallest shifts in our awareness allows us to shift our state in the moment. And you can do that within a minute or 2 as you're driving, literally by recalling your ability to pause, observe, witness, expand, and then release.
Woo. Amazing. Write that down, y'all. Write that down. Power.
Simple and powerful. Absolutely.
Amazing. Thank you, Adena.
All
right. You know it's time for Get Your Shit Together. All right. So Adena, she is an entrepreneur. She is a speaker. She is a author. And she is a summit host, just to name a few epic things that she is up to. Her heart is to change the world. Her heart is to empower, and her heart is to relieve suffering from those of us walking on this planet. And so put your hands together for the amazing Adena Sampson.
Thank you again so much, Amy. Thank you for having me. Such a pleasure to be here.
And congratulations on being the first episode of season 3. We are in season 3, everyone. Woo! And newly syndicated so grateful. This show has just been syndicated. You'll see it soon on Pluto TV and Tubi and other platforms. So grateful. Thank you, listeners, watchers, for being part of this and making this possible. Excited to help more people. So yay. Thank you for being our first guest today on How to Lighten Up.
Absolute pleasure, my dear. And again, how to lighten up indeed, right?
Yeah, it's important.
Again, another simple concept that I think many of us easily miss and or don't always put on the list of foundational principles that I know has definitely changed my life. I think you and I have a similar story there. So
Exactly. So connect with the audience just for a minute and express a little bit more about yourself that I wasn't able to share, but would be good for them to know about you.
Sure. What would you like me to share? Would you like me to give you a little background, just a little bit of my journey story?
Who is Adena? Who is Adena?
Well, that's a loaded question. So many facets of self for sure.
Yeah.
And right now, again, blessed to feel that I have accepted the good, the bad, the ugly, every aspect of self, including shadow self, again, which is something that was key for my journey, my healing. Not something that was always the case. However, grateful, thankful, blessed, grew up, to have a normal family, a wonderful family. And yet, like many of us, it wasn't without its twists, its turns, some codependency, perhaps, again, some toxic traits, certain things that I am grateful for now on my journey that led me to where I am now, although that wasn't always easy, right, to navigate through. For most of us, it can be, we can spend a lifetime, trying to understand our limiting beliefs. Again, anything that may be holding us back, going from that victim space and mentality to, again, what I hear in your messaging, which is, what am I choosing? How am I choosing to show up? We have an opportunity to do that at every moment. And I've been blessed through the pain, okay, through the suffering, to take that pain to purpose. So a big part of my life has been learning how to dance in the rain, literally, in every aspect, in every way, shape, or form. A big part of my journey, I spent 12 years of it fighting for my life. And I don't say that lightly, Amy, as a podcast to lighten up. I don't say that lightly. I used to be pretty serious in all seriousness.
Me too. Me
Right?
too. Absolutely.
Yeah. So that journey, again, to sharing how to lighten up has only come from what you just stated, our experience of the opposite, of the contrast. A big part of what I think you and I live an example in is, again, opening to all of life without judgment of what we deem it so, without the status quo and what we've been taught and told. So a big part of my journey was letting go of all the untruths, everything we've been taught and told, questioning, is that true? Right? Is that mine?
One of the best questions you can ask.
Right.
Is that true?
Yes.
Because we have been lied to and lied to and lied to. And we have an elephant, I think. We have our 95% unconscious mind that I call my elephant. And it's been trained in ways that I didn't train it, but it's my elephant. And I got to deal with it, right? I got to train it. And once we become aware, then in that moment we have a choice, right?
Absolutely.
And so I love what you're saying about the choice. We have to choose, but we first have to. This is my sign for wake up. I give myself a high five every time I realize.
You can get your shit together.
Yeah. Well, that too, right? That's what we're doing here, getting our shit together, because we're glorious, messy humans.
Yes. And again, accepting every aspect of that. And what I heard you just say, which is a big part of the core here, is it may not be our fault. However, it is our responsibility.
Yes. Oh my gosh. I say those exact words.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
Again, soul sisters here for sure.
For sure. So everyone at home, I want you to take a deep breath in, because we get our shit together on the show, right? I want you to walk away every show with something that you're taking away, a new way, a shift. So take a breath. Breathing is amazing. And ask yourself, what am I telling myself? And is it true? Right now, what are you telling yourself? And is it true? Is it life's hard? Is it this always happens? She's always this way. He's always this way, right? And is that true? Interesting.
Yeah, it's again rewriting the story, right? That's what you're speaking about now. What are we telling ourselves? And is that true? And if we continually on what I call autopilot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most of it, again, unconscious through the subconscious mind, if that is, which it is, replaying on a daily since we were how old?
Yeah.
Then again, that's something that we have to reframe. We have to reset, reprogramming. And a lot easier than we make it. Because back to the responsibility, the biggest resistance I see and that most of us experience is holding on. Most of us are controlling without even realizing it from a coping mechanism of survival and staying safe, right? That inner child that, again, did whatever he needed to survive is still playing out in our adult lives, and creating havoc because there's work to be done. There's love to be given in these spaces and places that never felt seen, heard, understood, or even help. So
yeah. And where has that happened for you, Adena?
Well, like I said, if I can backtrack just a bit with just a little bit of the story in a way that would paint the picture. And when I say story, there's a version of story that we're telling ourselves, like I said, that aren't true. And then a story that we can share so that you get to know a little bit more about me, the human version of Adena. And again, why I'm sharing what I'm sharing and why should you listen to me? I mean, these are great questions, wouldn't you say, Amy?
Yeah. You ask an excellent question, you get an excellent answer. You ask a shitty question, you get a shitty answer. Like, why me? That's a shitty question.
Right? Like, why not? And what is this teaching me? What can I learn from this? Right? So we can, again, reveal, reflect, reframe, right? Take any and all adversity and turn it into opportunity. And we do that by the reframe. So for example, I mentioned I fought for my life for a good 12 years. I didn't, again, that wasn't a small thing. And when I say that, I mean, I almost died 3 times. Okay. I got very, very sick, and lost everything from not just what I felt was who I am, questioning where I'm at. And it wasn't just surviving, Amy. I was merely existing.
Wow.
Okay. I was in a 24/7 pain cycle. My brain was on fire. At the time, I was misdiagnosed over and over again. Nobody knew what was going on, in and out of every doctor you can imagine. At one point, how many years in? I think it was at least 7 years into the journey, found out that I was dealing with chronic Lyme disease, a part of the journey. And of course, it's many viral co-infections. Point being, not always recognized, a huge epidemic of big proportion right now. Long before COVID and the cytokine storm and any inflammatory response that many of you watching may have already experienced. Again, whether it's deemed mystery illness or not,
right.
The journey itself, again, from the ability for me to have to be my own health advocate, to really heal from the gaslighting and my discernment, right? I was so used to that I had to learn how to trust myself again, to tap into my intuition. Through, again, the health and the downfall, there was a lot of medical gaslighting, personal PTSD that came along with it's all in your head. No shit. Yes, indeed it was, right? And that journey that wasn't just what we saw, that I just painted the picture of that tip of the iceberg, right? Of how it manifested physically.
Yeah.
It was then all the trauma associated with all the years prior to growing up, and then the relationships I attracted
Right.
that I was also participating in from a romantic standpoint, that left me literally on my deathbed when it all came crashing down in 2010. I ended up in the hospital. I had 7 nurses on either side of me trying to get a PICC line in. They couldn't get one. At the time, I was in a relationship, grateful, one of my biggest angels and greatest teachers. And yet it wasn't too healthy for either one of us. At the moment, I wasn't realizing that I was participating and actively, in a toxic, pattern. But I had this moment in the hospital that was just like, okay, how long and how much is it going to take for you to bleed? Like, how much do you have to be pricked before you bleed, right? Like, what is this? What are we doing to ourselves? I ended up going home with the PICC line, getting into a fight with my beloved. He stormed out. I remember hitting the floor. And this was a huge, huge, major turning point for me, Amy.
Yep.
Hitting the floor at the time, literally in tears. In that moment, something was so off, so wrong. I never felt what I had felt before. I didn't know what was going on, neither did the doctors. But in that moment, I knew that if I didn't choose me, back to that moment of choice, and stop people pleasing, fixing, all of some of the codependent tendencies I was involved in at the time, if I didn't choose me, which I had never done before, truly, I wasn't going to make it. I will never forget that moment. It was truly life-changing, heartbreaking beyond measure. And yet, again, a big part of what leads me here with you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing your heart with us. And those of you at home, I want you to take a minute to just breathe and ask yourself, where can you relate to Adena right now? Is it that breaking point? Is it 24 hours pain? I can definitely relate to that. I had migraines for a year and a half straight, every day, all night. Like, yeah, put a 1 in the chat if you have chronic pain or understand a little bit of what's going on. And that moment of realization is such a gift, right? That moment where you get to decide to do it different. I had a similar situation. It's the cliche, and when you're on a plane, in case of lack of cabin pressure, masks will fall from the ceiling. If you're with a child, put the mask on the child first. No, put the mask on yourself first and then assist the child. And out loud, I said, hell no, I would never do that. Out loud. And the lady beside me, she must have been from the South, because she's like, honey. And I was like, yes. She says, if you're not around, who's going to be here for the kids? My mouth hung open for, I swear, a good minute and a half. I was like, I factor in. I factor into my own life. It had never occurred to me. Grew up people pleasing, giving lots of beautiful things, good intentions, and zero balance. Right? And so, yes, we have to choose. It's not selfish. It's not selfish to take care of ourselves.
So that's a big thing you just said, which I'm sure you say a lot. And what I wanted to just reflect back to your story is, when you say that we are similar in nature, it just keeps showing itself. This is just the beginning, I think, with us, Amy.
Yeah.
I tell that exact story in one of the opening chapters of my book, exactly about the oxygen mask and me saying on the plane, no way in hell would I do that.
Are you kidding me?
I am not joking.
That's amazing.
To almost the T of what you just described. So, I mean, talk about, again, alignment, right?
It changed my life. That moment, that lady changed my life.
Yes.
I mean, it was a long road. I didn't get it really the first time, but it was started the fact it started I factor in possibly what do I need to do for me in this scenario, and I started making those shifts. Um I want you to everyone at home, I want you to think, do I need to work on that? Do I need to take care of myself a little better? Do I need to factor myself in? I want you to notice, because we can't change if we don't notice. So this is a moment to just notice. And if you're doing really well in that, then give yourself a little like, way to go, girl. Way to go, guy. Like, amazing. Because that's a gift. If you found balance in that, that's a gift. And that means you're living out that gift in front of everyone, helping us give permission for ourselves to do the same. Right? Which is what Adena and I are all about. Why we live our lives out loud in the way that we do is because we've been in the pain. We know it, but we're on the other side in so many ways. And we want all y'all to feel that too, So this is why we have the show. This is why we talk about these things. So what is some tips that you would give us on, yes, life can be really tricky. I like saying tricky, not hard, because I grew up believing it was hard. And are there hard moments?
Belief, though, that a lot of us have. It's important that everyone understands that when you say that, so many people relate to you, because that's one of the core wounds, I would say, right? Is some of us are taught that life is.
I heard it thousands of times.
Yeah,
right?
and you reframed it as tricky.
It's tricky. Can't we handle tricky? We can still handle tricky.
It's tricky. Isn't there something like something old school? I know I'm dating myself now. Tricky. Anyway.
I don't know about that, but maybe.
Something's been channeled through. I swear we're going to do a little ditty dance in between. I hope you don't mind.
I'm going to have to Google that now. Yeah, no. And this is a way to lighten it up. Okay. Like, life can be tricky. We can have chronic pain and we can still change our verbiage and say it's tricky.
Yes. So there were a few things that you said, and I know you were asking a few tips. I'd love to just reflect back a few things you said, because I do have a few thoughts. You mentioned it's not selfish to choose you. We know you're saying this. It sounds simple. And guys, it really is. Again, if we can just stay in a beginner's mind, no matter how far you are on the path, that's one of my tips. For sure. And the next is that there's such a fine line between being self-loving and selfish. And it's only from, again, what we were taught and what we were told. Yeah. Mostly from people who were not taught and told how to do that, did not practice that, and were not an example for us of it. And those who also aren't able to do that sometimes have a hard time when you start to practice that, right? Mm-hmm. So again, it's really letting go of the status quo and understanding that self-loving is not the same as being selfish. That's number one, for sure. Right, Amy?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Taking care of yourself is being self-loving, not selfish.
Yeah. And also on my journey, I realized that in that moment, having to choose me, and I didn't know how, like you said at the time, right? And like your journey too, it was going to be a process. However, I wouldn't even be here today with you here now, speaking on this topic without having the ability and the contrast to show me the way, to lean into, to the uncomfortable, right? To allow myself to ask what else is possible, to allow space for me as well. So it's not that you and I or anyone here is not going to stop giving and being love and all the things that, we know is innate within us. However, we're just not going to forget ourselves in the process. We're no longer, and I can speak for myself, giving from an empty cup.
Yeah, exactly.
And a big part of what I speak to on the journey was that's what I was doing. That's why I got so sick. I had no more to give. My cups were beyond empty. And somehow I tried and kept trying to give more than was, reciprocated. And it's not about tit for tat, never has been.
No.
However, it is about, again, I don't do my best the best words we can describe, equally yoked. And again, not from a religious standpoint, more so from a standpoint of energetic frequency,
Yes.
vibration.
Yes.
How do we feel when we are around certain people without judgment of where they're at and their journey? We are not better than, let's be very clear.
Nope.
Just different in the process of timing and where we're at. How can we learn from this and not only give, but also be lifted up? And that is our responsibility, not anyone else's.
Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, Tony Robbins says we're the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. Interesting.
Right. And again, back to then that choosing statement, right?
Yeah. I want to do a little process with everyone. I want you to think about 5 people that you love. And if you have a pen and paper in front of you, write their names down. 5 people that you love. 5 people. I know there's lots more, but write down 5 people that you love. All right. Good. Good job. Now, my question to you is this. Where are you on that list? Are you on the list? When someone first did this with me, I was like, oh, it had never even occurred to me to put my name on the list. And where should our name be on the list? Should. I don't like the name should. But where could your name be on the list that would most impact you and the world? First, we got to put the oxygen on ourselves first and then assist the child, the husband, the wife, the friend, the family. We don't turn into jerks by taking care of ourselves. I'm thinking of another word. You know what I'm thinking. I'm trying to behave.
We can't say that probably because of TV, right? This is what
I don't really know, but I'm trying to be careful.
You and I are game.
No, but you know, we're not going to turn into a-holes because we're taking care of ourselves. So again, I want to know, where are you on the list? Are you on the list? And right now on your list, I want you to put yourself there. Like just add it and just make this mental note. Okay. Things are going to change from today on. What if things changed from today on? What if you took this one nugget from this show? That's the heavens opening. That like your life will never be the same if you take this one nugget and do something about it.
And again, your point is so is important because again, that worry, that ego, that again, you said you won't be a jerk. You know what I mean? This won't make you whatever it is, and all the ways and labels that we have out there these days. Yes, people are. Okay, at times. And by the way, we all are, and we have been. First thing is to admit that we can't all be jerks. Number 1. Okay, Amy. But again, when we're coming from pure intention, from our come from, and that is not innate or the initial first response within us, when we start to really discern and trust ourselves, again, which is a process, we start to really get that. And again, anyone else's projection and or reflection of, again, is not of you. So again, that is part of the journey and the strength to also stay the course when we make these shifts for ourselves, is that it doesn't matter what other people think, say, project, feel. That's just part of where they're at on the journey. Make a choice for you and stay the course. Show up, care, and be loving. And just, have some boundaries as to what we are allowing to continue, what we are choosing, and being mindful of that in itself, like you just said, Amy, will absolutely change the course of your life, because it's changed the course of mine.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Understanding we all have a wild elephant that is untrained, and it's not our fault, but it's our responsibility. And you're just finding out you have an elephant, but the rest of the world doesn't know yet. They don't even know they have a wild elephant they need to train. So of course it's a shit show. Of course it's a shit show. And then I like to add these 2 words. So what?
Yeah.
So what? It's a shit show. This is our school. This is the gig. This is how we learn. What if we embrace the shit show instead of saying it shouldn't be that way? That is a way to lighten up, in my humble opinion. This is how we lighten up. We look at the shit show and we go, so what?
Mhm.
Interesting. Oh, someone's elephant's acting up today.
And I love that you say elephant. I just love it. I love it. It's absolutely beautiful. This is such an honor to be here with you, Amy. Truly, it's a wonderful process to be here present with you and your energy. Again, and a shit show, it absolutely is, a circus show for sure. Like you said earlier, and if we can ride that, the energy, you said something about a roller coaster, right? Sure, it can be. I know at one point it was for me. And now it's more of, once we find our center, we can manage from more of a graceful space, so that our bounce back becomes not only more consistent. Again, if you're like, got bamboos in the background. So if you got a bamboo, it's solid, right? It's rooted. No matter what happens, no matter what storms are brewing and come our way, right? It may sway, right? And before, you might have just, something came along and you were like, like swaying. And you'll start to notice, oh, wait a second, I don't sway as much. It's tiny little shifts. I think that's the biggest way for us to lighten up, is, you're right, don't take things so seriously, including that first person on the list, yourself, right? That's number one. 2, so what? Okay, what's next? Now what? There's many questions we can ask. Again, what is possible next? How does this serve me? And this is not, let me be very clear, and I think this is important for your audience. You can let me know, feel free if you'd like. This is not about spiritual bypassing.
No.
This is not about, just be positive. No, this is actually very more rooted and grounded in every aspect of, again, accepting all facets of self, right? That when you do that, there is no more judgment of yourself and others. You stop that ripple effect, and you lighten up the moment you realize that life is going to continue to throw us twists and turns. That
So
is
what?
Right? Storms will come and they will go.
So what?
Exactly. However, to expect otherwise, which is what you said, Amy, to shoot on ourselves, to expect that somehow we're on the mountaintop, that somehow we've made it. No such thing. It's the journey, period. If we can let that expectation go, you want to talk about joy and how more we could laugh about things, including the painful things, not from a coping joy mechanism, just from, I can even laugh at that now because it hurts so good, because we know in the laughter and the joy comes not only the peace, comes also the answer, right? Right, Amy? The answers that we seek come from, again, lightening up. So what?
So
What now? Next.
Love it.
Yeah.
Everyone at home, I want you to think about, just for a minute, the hardest thing you're going through right now. Just think about it, and then say, so what? And feel that. Isn't it amazing what happens by just saying, so what? You're like, oh, I can deal with this. I can deal with this. This isn't permanent. Guess what? Nothing's permanent. What? Nothing's permanent. Everything's temporary. What? We'd have to stop trying to make the things that we like permanent, and the things we don't like temporary, right? This creates so much suffering.
Yes.
What if we knew it was all temporary and we could just enjoy it for right here, right now, right? So some of the tricks we've shared is change the word from life is hard to life is tricky, right? We talked about we're glorious and messy, human. So what? We got an elephant. We have wild. He is wild. She is wild. She has been given programs that you did not ask for, and she is wild. Mine's a guy. I don't know why. My elephant's a guy. And so what? Adding those 2 words, so what? So what?
And like you just said, it's not forever. It's just for now.
Total, like, for real.
Yes.
Everyone who feels like this is permanent, I want you to grab yourself, look yourself, grab your heart right now and say, this is temporary.
This is
temporary.
Yes.
This is temporary. We can make things go for years if we believe that it's going to be that way. Or we can say, it's temporary. And then guess what? If we believe it's temporary, we're going to make choices and changes so that things shift. And they're often not big shifts, they're little shifts, right? Which is what this show's all about.
You just said believe, guys. Belief can. It is what we believe, right? It's again changing these beliefs that no longer serve us into something that does. And by the way, Amy, you understand too, this is a core wound for a lot of people, is that end of the world feeling. Like to even say, so what? Sounds easy, sounds cool. And I think for some it can be. And for others, there's another fear, another layer that comes up like, well, so what means I don't care, right? Again, does it? Is that true? Again, down the rabbit hole we may go. And what we want to do is take time to have some inquiry through the work that we do, right? To be able to be more curious, which is really the energy I get from you, Amy. I love it. You are so curious.
Aww.
You are the example of joy and curiosity, which brings in that inner child, that childlike joy that oftentimes we forget again, as we grow up, right, in our adulthood. So again, remain curious, guys, that we can just ask, is that true? So what? What does that mean? Really? And we just keep, you know what I mean?
Interesting. Say the word interesting when you think you see something interesting. Get curious. What's that about? What am I telling myself? Oh my goodness. I just made that guy a jerk, and his wife might be on her way to the hospital right now, and I just made him the worst human on the planet.
Yes.
Interesting.
Maybe that was my projection. No way, no shit. Yes. Right. My shit stinks too. We're going to say it, guys. If this is the Get Your Shit Together show, Amy,
yes.
I think the biggest issue I find for many of us, and me included, as I'm speaking, you're hearing me say us, because no matter how far we are on our journey, we're always growing, right? Again, if we're committed to the journey. So not to forget that we all need reminding a little bit, some way, somehow. Okay. Yes. And again, if we can accept that our shit stinks too, right? Man, I'll tell you right now, it sounds so funny, but that is one of the biggest core pieces of the puzzle here, guys, in all laughter, around this, set that aside for a moment. Absolutely. Once we accept that, man.
But we're glorious and messy. And I think we're equal parts. Like, let's be real. We're equal parts, glorious and messy. So what? This is the gig. This is Earth School, right? And let's take responsibility for what we are aware of. And let's get more and more aware so that we can take more responsibility and have more joy. That's what I'm here doing this show for, is for more joy and more freedom. We have just 2 minutes, girl. I want to talk about Courage to Thrive Challenge. Go to couragetothrivechallenge.com, guys. It's a free summit. Tell us more, Adena.
Sure. Okay. So couragetothrivechallenge.com. We host this event once a year. Yes, it's a free 10-day challenge. Again, we've got guest experts from across the globe joining us. Of course, Amy Joy being one of them. We're so very blessed to have her on day 7 of the challenge for Lighten Up. No surprise there. Again, we are going to be discussing 9 foundational principles, revealing that to you every day in small bits throughout the challenge. You've got an opportunity to join myself for morning breakthrough sessions, and then again, afternoon guest expert sessions. Again, guys, if you are in any way, shape, or form right now, which many of you are, in transition, going through a breakup, going through a career change, okay, anything that you may be navigating through, this is for you. Again, we get breakthroughs. We get down to the nitty-gritty, from breakdown to breakthrough real fast. We're giving you legit tips and tools that you can apply today in the now, so that you can leave with the ability to move your life powerfully forward with more courage, clarity, and confidence. So please join us, couragetothrivechallenge.com.
It's free. Come. Yes! It's amazing. It's a gift from her to the universe. So enjoy it. Share it with your friends. couragetothrivechallenge.com. Thank you so much, Adena. Can you believe we're out of time already? But I am going to have you come at the end. I want your nugget. of if you're on a mountaintop and you had the whole world's attention and you had just one thing to share, what would that be? We're going to have you. But right now, you know what time it is. It is time for Mantra Magic. All right, this is the part of the show where we give you a little jingle, a new program to install. So instead of the one that we often have, which is I'm not good enough, or life's hard, or this always happens, or whatever other, BS that we tell ourselves. So this is a fun way that you can listen to this. You can go, and every show we have a new mantra. So here is your mantra for the week.
Finding stillness in the moment. Life is happening for you. Giving thanks for every moment. Life is happening for you. Finding stillness in the moment. Life is happening for you. Giving thanks for every moment. Life is happening for you. Life is happening for you. Life is happening for you. Life is happening for you.
Life is happening for you. Life is not happening to you, it's happening for you. And everything is here to help you if you decide so. Yay! All right, so it's time for meditation moment. Grab the kids, the dog, everyone in the house. 5 minutes of presence. Go. It's happening now. All right, so this is where we take just 5 minutes to get present. Getting the music here from our amazing Gary Malkin. You can find him on Gaia TV, Islands of Inner Peace. He is a multi-Emmy winner composer, and he shared this music with us. This is the serene mind practice I learned from my spiritual teachers in India, and it's 5 minutes to bliss, and we're going to do that together now. So take a deep breath in. Just find your seat, however you want to sit. If you can have a straight spine, that's going to be nice, but whatever you want. The importance is that you're here and you're taking this moment to be present. When we're present, we're not in our messed up past or our projected messed up future. We're just right here, right now. And right here, right now is wonderful. So take a deep breath in and exhale. Try to make that ah sound. Another deep breath in. Good. And now I want you to notice your breath. As the air enters your nose. As you exhale, how does that feel? And breathe. And now I want you to notice, what thoughts are you having right now? Are they thoughts of the past? Are they thoughts of the future? Or are you right here, right now, with me? Don't make it right or wrong, good or bad. Just notice. And breathe. I want you to notice how it feels for the air to reach your lungs. I want you to notice that your lungs breathe in and out all day long without you having to tell them to. And breathe. I want you to notice a flame flickering right in front of your eyes. Slowly let that flame slide right into the middle of your head. Notice the reds, the yellows, the whites, the golds. And breathe. With your hands on your heart, I want you to think of one thing that you are so grateful for that it brings a smile to your face. And while you're in this beautiful, expanded space, I'm going to send you a beautiful energetic activation. It's called a Diksha. All you have to do is set the intention to receive. Beautiful. With a deep breath in and exhale. Slowly blink your eyes. Come back into the room. Good job, everyone. Way to go. I'm going to bring Adena back. There she is. How was that for you, love?
Oh, I absolutely loved it. Present as can be. And thank you. Thank you so much.
It's actually tricky for me to come back. I go far and then I'm like, how do I put a sentence together now? But it's so wonderful to be present. Presence is so valuable, and you can do this throughout the day, anytime you want. Just take 5 minutes to be present. Amazing. All right, Adena, we want to know your golden nugget. So if you are on the top of a mountain and 8 billion plus souls were at the foot of the mountain with obviously a great stereo system, and everyone could hear you clearly, and they were paying attention, and you had just one thing to share with them, what would that be? We have 2.5 minutes.
Is it okay if it's short and sweet?
It can be, absolutely.
Great. Okay, so the only way out is through.
Ooh.
That's it. I mean, of course, we know you and I are very shy. We don't have much to say. However, I think that sums it up. The only way out is through. So move through it. Lean into the uncomfortable. And again, oftentimes, almost always, actually, when we feel stuck in any way, shape, or form, when we are not sure what step to take next, that is okay. It will be shown. It will come. Ask and you shall receive. We've heard it so often. And yet it is true if we are not expecting it to show up at a certain time in a certain way, right? Without the control. So lean into it. Take just that tiny first step, whatever that might look like. Move through the uncomfortable. And on the other side, every single time, at least from my experience, there is something bigger and better than you could have ever imagined. And all of a sudden, you're on the other side going, wait a second, that wasn't so bad. So what? Let's do it again.
So what?
Right?
We all know why we go to the gym. Why do we go to the gym? Right? To make muscle.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't lift weights, we can't make muscle,
Yeah.
right? So even if someone is sick in bed, someone has to come and move them and create resistance, or else they will literally dissolve into bones, skin and bones. So interesting why we are cursing the weights that we need to lift to make us strong. Interesting.
Mm-hmm. The very contrast again, the very thing that allows us to celebrate, to break through. You see what I mean? It's all there, guys.
Exactly.
You don't gain the confidence because you're just born with it. You move through it. You just do it.
Move through it. It's temporary. So what? You've got this, people. You've got this. I love you. Thank you for spending your very precious time with us. Thank you, Adena. Go to couragetothrivechallenge.com. We would love to see you there. Remember that together we vibrate higher. And that, my friends, changes the world. We'll see you next time. Besos. Mwah!
Thank you, Amy, so much.
Love you. Thank you for watching Get Your Shit Together live with Amy Joy. If you'd like to follow us, you can on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Amy Joy Coaching. Appreciate so much your likes, comments, and shares. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please reach out. We'll see you next time.